Hello, everybody, and welcome to my talk. And as you can guess from the title, it's going to be about the Gemini models and what you can do with them. But today, I won't be the only one presenting. I will also have a special guest presenting with me.
Hello, everyone. I am Gemini, and I'm incredibly excited to be here with Guillaume today to talk about the exciting world of Gemini models and AI Studio. We're going to explore how you can quickly prototype with these models, bridging the gap between consumer applications and enterprise-level customization. Let's dive in.
Cool. But before going to the content, maybe you can introduce myself.
It's my pleasure to introduce Guillaume, a developer advocate working on Gemini models. He has some amazing demos planned for you. Enjoy.
Thank you. And as Gemini said, I'm a DevRel, which means my job is to make sure that whenever we release new models or new capabilities, you have everything that you need to use them. So code samples, documentation, examples, and so on. But I'm also the voice of the customer internally, so I'm also I'm often what we call the customer zero. So I'm the first one to actually use a new feature as a developer would do and not as an engineer inside of DeepMind do. So I'm bringing them a lot of feedback that, this API naming doesn't make any sense and all. But I also need your help on bringing them that feedback. So if you feel like there's things that don't work, just come to me, tell me, because that's the best way to make the models better. And Gemini, you quickly introduced me, but you basically said what was on the slide. Can you just search on the internet and say something about me that the crowd might not know about?
Before his time with Google, Guillaume worked as a video game producer at Ubisoft, contributing to titles like Assassin's Creed Odyssey. He also has a passion for homebrewing beer.
Okay, that one is quite a new one. I will have to search afterwards where it found that information. It's not that it's not true, but yeah, I didn't know that there was traces of me on the internet about that. Can you, since we are in Envert, can you say the same thing, but in Dutch?
Voordat Guillaume bij Google kwam, werkte hij als videogameproducent bij Ubisoft en heeft hij bijgedragen aan titels als Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Daarnaast heeft hij een passie voor het zelfbrouwen van bier.
Okay, I will trust you on that because I don't speak a word in Dutch. But let's move forward. I work for DeepMind and for Google as well. It's just basically the same thing. And as you all know, we've been doing. It's not like AI is new to Google. We have been doing AI stuff for years now. So lots of projects that we had on this slide. But things have gone kind of crazy over the last year. This is just what we shipped between I/O 2024 and I/O 2025. And you can see there's plenty of things in there. On average, since the beginning of the year, we've shipped things every 5 days. And since I'm working on a lot of those ships, it's kind of tiring a bit, and it's already hard enough for us to keep track of everything that's available and everything that the models and can do. So my guess is that it's even more complicated for you because you also have to look after our competitors and all of that. So that's why I'm doing those kind of talks to tell you about the cool things that we can do. The Gemini, among the things that are on this slide, which one are you the most excited about?
Among all those products shown on the slide, I'm really excited about Alpha Evolve, Weather Next, and Genie. Especially Genie with the recent announcement of Genie 3.
Yeah, so for those who don't know about Genie is what we called our world model. And it's basically a model where you can, I forgot to add a video, but basically it's a model where you can add a prompt and it will create the 3D world and you can navigate in the world, and if you put something in some place, it will remember. So it really goes with the vision of DeepMind of what we called a world model. And maybe, Gemini, you can explain what we called the world model?
DeepMind's concept of a world model is essentially an AI system that can simulate aspects of the world. This allows agents to predict how an environment will evolve and how their actions will affect it. It's a way for AI to learn and explore in a simulated environment, rather than just through real-world trial and error. Models like Genie 3 are used to create interactive 3D worlds from text prompts.
Okay, I already said that. But that's really the core vision of what Gen AI is for DeepMind. Like, we didn't start by doing text-to-text models. Right from the first version of Gemini, Gemini 1.0 was already multimodal, and that's really the core of the models we want to build. That they can like ingest as many modalities as we can, like images, audio, videos, and so on, and like so that we can. It's basically the five senses, but for the models, and we believe that the more modalities and the more ways the models have to can ingest and can also output, the better they are going to be at understanding the world and to and better to answer our requests. That's I'm sorry, that's kind of the more commercial slide. But Gemini, can you explain it?
This chart shows the trade-off between performance, measured on the vertical axis, and price, shown on the horizontal axis. The Pareto frontier is the line that represents the best combination of these two factors, showing models that offer the most performance for their price. Gemini 2.5 Flash is positioned on this frontier as a model that makes a good trade-off between power and cost.
Yeah, so that's basically the way we want to place our models. We don't always have the best model. We are trying to, like everybody else, but we're trying to offer you the best quality of the best like performances for the prices. And I'm going to mainly talk about Gemini and the Gemini family, but we also have a lot of other models that we work on, and that we have all of the generative media models, Imagen and Nano Banana that you have very likely heard about, that can generate images. We have Veo that can generate videos. We have Lyria that I will show you afterwards that can generate music. And we have more dedicated models. We have the robotics model. If I have time, I will maybe tell a bit more about that. It's basically a model that has been fine-tuned to detect things in the space, so that the robots knows where the things are and what it can grab and where it can put it, and so on. And we have a lot of agents that I will talk about. And the things I'm not going to talk about today are like we have the Gemma models, also the open weight model or open weight family of models, and a lot of very specialized models for research, like Alpha Evolve, Weather Next for the weather, and like I think we announced that we have a couple of them in the work, but it's for very specialized partners, so I'm not going to talk about them. You want to say something about that, Gemini? No. Before we go further, there's one question that I always get is, because we're Google and we like to always make different products that are very close, and everybody is kind of confused about which one you should use. And in the AI space, we did the same. So we have Vertex AI, we have AI Studio, we have the Gemini app, and I just wanted to take just a minute to explain you what the difference between those things, but I think Gemini is going to do it better than me.
On the consumer end, we have products like the Gemini app and Notebook LM, which are pre-packaged Gemini-powered products, offering limited customization. On the enterprise side, there's Vertex AI, which offers a wide range of advanced tools and controls, but can be more complex to set up. Google AI Studio and the Gemini Developer API are a great way for developers to get started quickly with the Gemini models.
Cool. So that's basically the thing. Like we have Vertex for enterprise customers. You have a lot of controls. You can decide where the models are going to be run. You have the buckets and all of that. The problem is that it comes with all of the complexities that goes with using a cloud provider. So for independent developers or like startups who are beginning, that's not really a good starting point, and that's the reason why we made AI Studio, which is meant to be what we call the fastest path from prompt to production with Gemini. So an easy place to try things and to push them, to test things with them and prototype things and publish them without having to go through the complexity of Vertex AI. But for most enterprise customers, big customers, if you already have a DevOps team, if you're already using GCP, like you can start with Vertex AI right away, and that's going to be okay. The thing to keep in mind is that both APIs are actually using the same SDK. So we have the unified SDK that can be used with both, and you basically just have to change the way you authenticate. You use OAuth for Vertex, and you use an API key for AI Studio and the Gemini Developer API. I know that most of you are Java developers, and I'm sad to say that we don't have an official Java SDK. But we have the Longchain4j, for example, implementation that is an easy way to use the Gemini models using Java. And like on top of all of those things, we also have like all of our agents, Jules, Gemini CLI, Gemini Code Assist that I'm going to talk about later. I think that's all for Gemini. I will take over from here and do some live demos.
Thank you, Guillaume, for having me, and everyone, enjoy the rest of the talk. Guillaume has planned some amazing demos. You'll love them.
So before we go further, let me show you what I was doing. I was using the live model. So we have let's stop that. We have a live model. It's a model where you can talk to, and it responds in real time. So that's what you saw, and you can share the screen. So I was actually sharing the screen to the model so that it could react in real time to what I was showing. The only thing is that I was faking it because I wasn't sure about the about the Wi-Fi today. But that's kind of a cool thing that you can do. Let me show you. I had to write a very complex system instruction to make sure that it would behave the way I wanted it to behave. Like don't forget that it was in Belgium, that's what my name is, and like in which order it should talk about things. But the cool thing is that you're never sure about exactly how it's going to be presenting things, so that's kind of the funny thing. And so this is, I think I had another slide here. About AI Studio, Business Insider just said last week that it was our best kept secret. Because it's basically the place where developers like you and I can test things very easily in a UI without having to write any code. So you have access to all of the models, the Gemini ones, the image generation ones. You can even try the Gemma ones if you're interested in them. And for example, I can use Nano Banana and say, I don't know, I want a picture of a cat traveling to. Is that how you write it? And you can play with the model. So this is Nano Banana, or latest image generation model. And the cool thing with this model is that you can actually iterate on the image. So it's not like classical image generation models where you prompt, you get an image, and if you're not happy with the image, you just have to change the prompt and try again. And this one has been trained so that you can iterate on it. Like let's say I want fireworks in the sky, and that way you can iterate on what you want to change on the image and make it more close to what you were expecting, basically. The way I'm seeing that is like in AI, like you do gradient descent. So because you're trying to find the local minimum, and that's basically the same thing. You start with an image and you iterate on the image until you find the iteration of that image that is the closest to what you want it to do. And the cool thing with AI Studio is that, once again, sadly not for Java, but you have this get code thing. And you can get the code like for everything that you've done in the screen, so that you can share it with someone or start a project from that. You can even, like for Python, you can open it in Colab, for example, and get started right away. So this is really the idea is that you can play with the models and you have access to all of the parameters, like the aspect ratio in this case, the temperature. If I select a more classical model, I have access to all of the tools, grounding, which is what I was using earlier to have Gemini look on the internet for me and find things to say about me. URL context, where you can just pass URL and it will open them and fetch the content from the website to add that to its context. You have control about thinking and all of that. So basically, the idea is that you can try things there without having to write any line of codes. And what I usually tell to startups is that this is also a good tool for their CEOs or their creative people, because they can go there and start like testing their ideas and then iterate on their ideas without testing the engineering team, who has usually other things to do than to try the new idea of the CEO every day. So that's pretty convenient. In the slide earlier, there was also something about Notebook LM. So in the room, who has ever used Notebook LM? Oh, really? Not that many. But can you tell me what's the best feature of Notebook LM?
Very interactive.
Oh, that's the first one. It's not the one I was expecting that comes. Most people usually answer the audio overview, because you can get some kind of a podcast about all of the documents you uploaded. And the cool thing is that you can now do the same thing using the API, so that you have more control about the way the podcast is actually done. So for example, one of the thing in Notebook LM is that it always ends with an open question, and if you're tired of the open question at the end, you can just do it yourself and not tell it to finish with an open question. And the way you do that is fairly simple. So for example, here I'm going to generate a transcript of the discussion between two Java developers, Mark and Sophie, who are attending DevOps Belgium in Anvert and blah, blah, blah. And I can just copy-paste up that discussion. And if I go in the menu in Generate Media, Speech Generation, so we have this text-to-speech model, and you just have to give it the transcript, set the name of the speakers. Sophie was the other one, and you can run it. The only thing is that it takes 2 or 3 minutes, because it's basically using the same model as the live model, so it takes as much time to generate as it would take to say it. So I actually pre-run it.
Hey, Sophie, finally caught a break between sessions. What's on your radar next?
Mark, perfect timing. I'm buzzing for the Gemini and the future of AI and Java talk this afternoon. Did you manage to grab a spot?
Absolutely. Wouldn't miss it.
So you get the idea. You can play with it afterwards. One of the cool things that I've discovered last week is that since it's the same model as the live one, and the latest generation one is what we called native audio output, which means that the model outputs the audio directly instead of using a text-to-speech model in between. And because of that, it's also able to change language on the fly. So you can actually generate a discussion between two people in different languages, and it won't have any problems creating that discussion with the like switching language for each character. And since I'm on the Gen Media, just very quickly, I won't run it, but like we also have the Imagen models. I said that it's our other image generation model. The cool thing with the latest iteration of it is that it's really good at following instructions and like especially text. And so I really like this example because create a 3-panel comic. And then in panel 1 do this, in panel 2 do that, and so on. And it's really good at following those kind of instructions. So you can make pretty cool images with that. We also have the video models. So we have Video 3.0 that we released to the public in July. And you can create videos that are either landscape or portrait, 8-second videos. And you once again you can just prompt it. It will create the video and like try to follow as much as possible what you want to follow. And the cool thing with the 3.0 model is that it also creates sounds that goes with the video. So. Let's try again. And we have another tool that that is currently only available in the US and for selected customers. That is called VO. That is basically a studio where you can use VO in creative ways and create a first video, then extend it to 8 more seconds, so that you can create actually longer videos by adding 8 seconds at a time. This should be coming to the API as well very soon. But so that's and the last one, the last generative media model that I really like is Lyria. So as I said earlier, it's our music generation model. But if you think about our other media model, you might think that I will basically prompt it and I will get something like maybe 30 seconds of audio, and I have to do that again and again and again. And it's actually using WebSocket, so the same tech as the live model, and it will create music like until you stop it. So I can try it here. And as you start prompting it, and it starts outputting music, and you can after that change it in real time. So let's add I don't know, drum and bass. And keep up, I don't know. And you have complete control about the sound, the prompts. You can change, like, let's just stop it. But that's a really cool model to play with, because this is an example that we built with a fixed number of prompt, but you can actually customize it and use it the way you want. And as you saw, like, you change the music, and you change the prompt and you change the music in real time, and that's pretty cool to play with. And like this one, you saw that the screen was slightly different than the other screen I showed you from AI Studio, and that's because that's what we call an app, an AI Studio app, and you have actually access to all of the code from the app to check how it works, especially for things like Lyria. Since it's kind of complicated, it's not just a REST API, it's WebSocket, so you can where is that? You can check all the code and check how it's working, and you can copy it and fork it and create your own apps thanks to that. And that's what leads me to my last section. I wanted to talk about vibe coding because I think this with agents, I think this is going to be the new buzzword of the year. And in AI Studio, you can go to this build section there, and we have a lot of apps example that you can check, like usually about all of the models and the capabilities that we have. There's a cool one about robotics, for example, that you can try. And you can also prompt it and run it, and it will create an app for you. So it will take some time because if you use the Gemini model recently, and I think most of our competitors as well, most of the new models are thinking models, which means that they are taking some time to actually assess what you were asking for, get to better understand what you want to do, and afterwards start building things. So it's taking more time than just classic text-to-text models, but usually it's better, especially for coding tasks. So in this case, the app I wanted to do was something so that I can take a picture of my daughter's homework, and that it will create a quiz for her to work on the words that she has to learn that week. So as you can see, that was my prompt. Then it thought for 36 seconds, analyzing the thing, and now it's starting to output the code. So it shouldn't take more than 30 seconds, something like that. The cool thing is that it's not just the raw model, it's an agent in the sense that if for some reason there's a crash and the app cannot launch, it will see it right away and try to fix the error right away, instead of having you say copy-paste the error, oh, this is happening, fix it. And also what's cool is that when you're using the code assist, it knows how to use Gemini and all of the different models, so you can use it to create apps that are using the app. So what I ask specifically in this one is that it would create an app that is using Gemini to generate the questions, but also if my daughter makes mistakes, it will also use Gemini to try to explain to her why she made a mistake there, and why there was and how she could have found what was not working. I should have a picture here. Oh, sorry, it's in French. I forgot to update the prompt to say I wanted it in English. But you can guess what it is. It's preparing the quiz, making a lot of Gemini calls to prepare it, and even like generating some images about unicorns, I think, to illustrate the quiz. Yeah. And and I think I told it also to say some things aloud. So it will either use the text-to-speech model that I showed you earlier, or it will use a browser method that is already there. And that didn't work. See, I can auto-fix it, but then it might take some time. So let's move on. I think I already have a version that is pre-run that I can show you, but you can guess what it will look like. Let's go back to the slide. Yes, one of the things that we announced yesterday, so as I said, we are launching things all the time, so I had to update the slide this morning, is this new model that we call computer use. And that's basically using kind of the same tech as the live models, so that the Gemini can see what's happening in the browser and click on buttons for you if you have to fulfill the task you're giving it. So in this case, for example, in this video, the prompt is connect to my Post-it app and organize them in a better way. So the model, this is accelerated 3 times, I think, video, but the models is checking the Post-its and moving them on the screen according to what you want it to do. And I have really high hopes in those things, not to to do those kind of tasks, but also because I really hope that we are going to be able to improve the way we develop things, so that we can have some kind of agents like this to do some QA every time we are doing things, like not just check that these unit tests are passing, but also launch the app, try to use it, click on a couple of buttons, and see if you create a crash or not, and hopefully catch some errors automatically before actually moving to actual humans testing things. So if you want to try, there's gemini.browserbase.com, where you can try a couple of examples of things that you can do with the computer use model. So I started talking about live coding a bit already. As I said, for me, it's going to be the new buzzword of the year. One of the cool things is that you can easily prototype things with vibe coding. You just send a prompt, and it will create the app that you want, and so that you can focus on the what instead of focus on the how. And with agents, it's going to be even better, because we are going to be able to add, it will proactively be able to work on different tasks. So like documenting, testing things, like like we saw, if there's a crash, fixing it already, and hopefully later on fix things with computer use. One of the one I'm using the most is Jules, because most of the code generation tools that we have in the IDE are like you prompt, and that's basically what happened in AI Studio. You prompt, and then you basically watch the model work for a couple of minutes, and you can't do anything, and you're like, oh, should I change something? I forgot I needed to change that, but if I change any file while it's working, is it going to break everything or not? So you're never sure of what to do, and you always have to keep, I don't know, for me it's always like that. I'm sending a prompt, and then like 2 seconds later, I'm like, oh yes, I should also do that, and then I need to remember that for 3 minutes before I can actually work on that thing. So the cool thing with Jules is that it's a different. It works in different ways. It's an agent where you give them tasks, and it's based on GitHub. And instead of working just one at a time, it creates a VM. It forks your GitHub project, and it works in the VM on the task, which means you can create multiple Jules in parallel, and they can work on different things. So whenever I have a new things I want to do, I can just start a new Joule, and it will work, and they will work in parallel. One of the things I've built with that, I've tried building an app from scratch with Jules, so something more complex than just AI Studio app, is this magical mirror. Can you see? No, not really. Let's skip that. Anyway. But I spent 5 days building an app from scratch to something that I could use. And the idea was we have DevFest Nantes in a week, and the theme is fairy tales. So I wanted to build a magical mirror where you can ask questions to it. You can ask it to tell you stories, but also use all of the cool features that we have. So like transform me into a unicorn, a princess, a knight, or something like that, and also use create musics, background musics, and all of those cool things. But I tried doing it with only Jules, only vibe coding, and I had the first, let's say, 2 days of honeymoon phase where that was really great. Like I was going fast. I was able to create a first prototype very, very quickly. And as I said, using Jules, I was able to work on multiple tasks in parallel. That was great. And then after day 3 or 4, I was starting to reach the limit, because the model was. I was starting to ask very specific thing about the model. Like, I want you to modify that. And that's where you're starting to have to be very precise with the tasks that you are asking the model to solve. Otherwise, it will become sometimes too creative. And also, it doesn't know always what, like, for example, Lyria is but the Gemini models by itself has a knowledge cutoff, and at the moment it's January 2025. So everything that we shipped afterwards, the model doesn't know by itself. So you have to help it by providing it with documentation and things like that. And one of the things that really help is what's called LLM.txt. And you have basically this this website that is the markdown version of all of the documentation, and you can take any of those links, and it's basically the normal links, but you just add .md.txt, and that's markdown version of the documentation that you can easily copy paste to the model so that it can work better on those things. And that saved me a lot of times because I didn't need to explain it how to work on things. And then for the last days, that's where I was like, I said I was going to do that only with vibe coding, but I was clearly reaching the limits when you want to like correct very small things, like change this text and correct the prompt, and I want this specific use case, especially since it's not able to see what it does. So its knowledge about the UI and the UX is purely from the code. So when you're telling it, I want that to be on the top left corner and move that, and that's not always working very well. And here's how it looks.
Hello, I'm the Magic Mirror. What can I do for you? I can transform you into any fairy tale or fantasy character you wish, or even tell you a story. What would you like to do?
Could you turn me into a squire?
Very well. Prepare to be transformed into a brave squire. Is there anything else I can help you with, my dear squire?
Yes, let's say I've been promoted for my good behavior, so I'm now a knight.
Congratulations on your promotion. I shall transform you into a noble knight now.
And you can see it's changing the music according to the prompt as well.
Experience, my noble knight?
Let's stop here. Funny thing is that after that I'm trying to ask to be turned into a Dark Knight, and one of the problems is that half of the time it turns me into Batman. But if you want to try it, you can use this link. Since it's using Nano Banana a lot, it's quite expensive to maintain, so I don't think it will stay for very long. But for the next couple of days, you can try it by yourself and maybe send me feedback about that. Just very quickly, some feedback if you want to do live codings like that, vibe coding like that. The best thing is to work on one thing at a time. Like the worst mistakes that you can do is send a list of 10 things to fix at the same time by the model, because of course it will do 9 right and 1 bad, and you will have to start again because just to fix that one. Have like detailed prompt. The longer the prompt, the better the results. One of the things as well is, as you saw in AI Studio, Gemini tends to rewrite all of the files all the time. So the shorter the files, the faster it's going to be able to iterate on things. So it's better to tell the models to be as modular as possible, especially since also it will help for things like Jules, because you will have more chances that it won't work on the same files at the same time. But the most important part is you have to always double check what the AI is doing. It's very convenient, but it makes mistakes, or it doesn't know what it wants to do, or it doesn't know that the other has changed things in this file in another way, and so especially with when I was using 10 joules in parallel, I was always having problems when I was trying to do the merge. So be very careful about that. There's Gemini CLI that is also a good way to do agentic things and code generation things that you should try. It's an open source AI agent that, as its name implies, works in CLI. And just for the sake of time, I'm going faster. But the way I see the development in this new AI world is that we all have to learn, like the agents are going to become team members. We have to think of them as team members to whom we are giving tasks, and we are going to let them work in their by themselves and just check out the results as you would do with a team member. So which one of the skills that is becoming more important, especially for young developers, is that it's going to be more important to know how to read codes and review code than to actually write the code in themselves. And it's also going to be a lot more about how to direct the agents and how to organize which part of the code they are going to work on, which is basically what a team lead or Scrum Master is already doing. It's just that it's going to become a core skill for developers. And finally, I'm a huge fan of everything no code and low code. So as Gemini said earlier, I used to work in the video game industry as a producer, and I was maintaining the Jira for the whole team. And the cool thing with Jira is that you can hack it in so many ways. But I always preferred everything that was no code and low code, because that way others were able to know what I was doing in there, instead of just sending like JavaScripts and hacking things in hacky ways. So the good thing with vibe coding is that we are going to open up coding to non-coders. And one of the things that I really like at DeepMind is that some of our marketing folks are already starting to use AI Studio to build their own apps for their marketing campaigns. And I find that incredible, because there are people that are absolutely not technical. So if they are able to use those tools now, I guess everybody can do it now. And just one very quick notice, like we have this Opal things that we also launched last week. As I said, we launch things all the time. That is basically even less technical ways. You have boxes, and you can select what different part of the agents are going to do, so that you can build things with that. And this can be AI generated as well. And I'm going to finish with that, because we are in Europe. We have a very generous free tier for Gemini, so you can actually do a lot of things for free. But the thing I wanted to mention is that our terms and conditions say that if you're using the free tier, we can use your data and stuff for training, except in Europe, because the GDPR is preventing that. So everything that you can do in AI Studio is for free, and everything that you do, even with the API as well, is free, and your data is safe as long as you are in Europe. So yeah. And let's end there, so that we have a couple of minutes for questions. Just one mention that we have this cookbook that is a GitHub repo that I maintain, with lots of example of things that you can build with AI Studio, with Gemini. So it's mostly Python, but yeah, you can guess what it does and replicate it in Java very easily. So, do we have questions? Guillaume?
It's not a question, but I think you said there's no Java SDK. There is one.
There used to be one. I think it's deprecated.
No, it's the
Really?
the unified SDK works in Java as well.
Okay.
So you can do banana, etc. All in Java without problem.
Okay, sorry, I didn't know about this one.
Yeah, for Java developers.
So why do we need LongChain4j anymore?
That's for beyond just the
Any other questions? I don't see you very well. Okay. But if we don't have questions, let me show you this other cool app that I skipped. That is the, where is that? The robotic model. So I told you we have a robotic model, and it has been trained for image recognition. So it should work. And so what the model can do is that you can feed it with images, and it can like detect bounding boxes for the things it sees in the images. Like you want to find the banana. Up. Up, and it found the banana. And that's basically the kind of features that are being used in the robotic models to control the robots, because it needs to understand the task, to find the things on what it sees, to know where they are. And I don't know why they haven't added there. But we also have an experimental feature that the model is also able to guess 3D positions of things with only one image. So up. Okay. Demo effect. Let me show you very quickly. So this is the cookbook I was telling about. Here it is. And see, that's the kind of things that the model is meant to be able to find. So it's not perfect. You see the sugar container is slightly off, but it's still kind of impressive based on just a 2D image. And you can. I think I have other examples now. So you can see there's a lot of examples. So I don't always know where they are. But yeah, you can if you're curious, you can just run them, run the Python notebooks in Column. Any last question?
Is your bug fixed?
Yeah, we can try. Yep. We can try again. Up. Yeah, problem is that it's always taking some time. In the meantime, we can have a look at the code. And as I said, like you have, that's also part of the instruction for the code assistant to create like multiple files, because as I said, it makes things easier to maintain. And usually it creates this Gemini service file where you have most of the API calls, and you can see the prompts as well. And see, still thinking. Oh, here we go. And let's make a mistake. See, it corrected me, and then it explained like you made a mistake with the how you would. I don't know how to translate all of that in English. But basically, it explained what the error is, and then she can move on and you can listen.
Je m'assois délicatement sur un nuage à côté de la licorne. Je
Wow.
m'assois délicatement sur un nuage à côté de la licorne. Je m'assois délicatement sur un nuage à côté de la licorne.
That's quite an hard one for a 10-year-old kid, I guess. What? What? Ah, that's great. That's the problem with AI. No, actually, one of the problems I had when iterating on this one is that how LLMs are trained, are using tokens and transforming what you type into tokens, and that's how it's quite good at translating things from one language to another. And the problem is that it's also very good at ignoring all of the typos you made when you type things. And because of that, it was really bad at correcting those kind of sentences, because it ignores the typo. It says, "Oh yeah, that's looks like the same," even though there's a typo or a mistake in the sentence. So I had to be very careful with the actual version that I'm using with my daughter of that app. And I think we're at time. So thank you for attending, and I hope that it was interesting.